Since I might be making some more of these videos and I always talk about the fruit trees, I figure I might as well go ahead and talk about some of the support plants. Support meaning they just don't bring me necessarily food, which they might, but they're here to help the insects find my home, the pollinators, to feed them. So as we sit right in the front, you know, I've got some stuff you don't see, like California poppy, some type of flower, roselle. I guess that's not really a support plant. But the first thing we have here is we have sage. It's old, but it's still doing its thing. And we have two phenomenal lavender plants. Now, if you look at here, people are acting like there's a bee shortage. I'm sure you can't really see how active it is. But if I get down here, I've got more lavender than these two plants, but the bees even sleep on this lavender. So we got lavender, we've got sage. Now let's keep going. We have another sage right here. Now all these are young, so they're not so impressive. This is some type of flowering plant, I don't know, but here we have like gladiolus, we have poppies. Not only poppies do we have all different kind of bulbs. We got Egyptian walking onion, this purple thing, whatever this is, some type of flower. So here we got another bulb coming. Now even in my banana plant, we have another Egyptian walking onion, another Egyptian walking onion. So I don't want to keep doing that. Here's another lavender tucked under the raspberry. Let me see. I'm still learning as I go, but I've gotten a couple comments saying I need support plants, and I do have them, but I just don't have many, and I don't have them in the backyard because I've got too many dogs. So right here is a rosemary. I can smell it from here, but I don't know what to do with this rosemary yet, but it survived down to 8 degrees and it's still here. Let me see. I'm pretty sure we might have some other support stuff out front. Potatoes I need to pick up. And while we're down here, let's check on these apples. Yeah, they're cool. We got pumpkins and stuff coming in, all kind of gourds, volunteer gourds. We have some flowers I planted down here, don't really know the type. We have a couple apples that just came up from seed. Anyway, no more. I got to get on the support. So here we have some of these. The bees like those, but they don't like anything as much as they. This is a new persimmon I just put in, but this lavender. Okay. Let's go over to this side. Underneath the peach tree, we have a blue false indigo. And over here we have a sweet Carolina sweet shrub, something like that, sweet shrub. Oh yeah, and I don't talk about this one. Here's a Fuyu persimmon with some little fruits on it. And we have some birdhouse gourds. So that's a little bit of support for the birds. I've already built 2 of them. So as we walk into the backyard, we're greeted by 2 blue false indigo, the Carolina jessamine state flower, and this is a support plant. We've got bird nests up in here with little baby birds. Nothing too much going over here. Currant bush, black slitza, but I don't really call that a support. So let me see what we come to first as we walk towards the back. Do we have any? Maybe I don't have as many support plants as I thought I did. So again, like I said, we have an Egyptian walking onion under a peach tree, another Egyptian walking onion under a pluot. As we continue, strawberry, and here's one I just put in. Down here, we have those. I heard you can eat the roots anyway. We're not talking about that. Another Egyptian walking onion planted at the bottom of this pluot. My dogs keep trampling in it. But anyway, one day it'll get its feet in. Here's another blue false indigo getting ready to go to seed. Here we have silverberry, which I'm probably going to take the silverberry out. I think that's a support plant. Here we have something going out of control. This is the yellow, the big yellow thing. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember, but it's big and it's yellow. Forsythia, maybe something like that. Yeah. Here we have a Siberian pea shrub. This is the male that'll put out the pollen. And right to the left of me, we have the female Frugana seaberry. And right here, beauty berry. I crush these leaves up, wipe them on my skin because they say it makes the mosquitoes stop. But I consider that a support plant because the bugs seem to love it. Here, coming down this walkway, we have ourselves a buffalo berry, or no, Siberian pea shrub. This is not the buffalo berry. This is one of our Siberian pea shrubs. And as we come down, we have an echinacea. The dogs keep trampling it, but I'll eventually get this thing to take over. And again, we have all kind of little moringas just waiting to pop up. Here we have a green ash that came up from seed. Actually, no, it did not come up from seed. Look at the root of this green ash. I think it was a branch that I threw down, and now it turned into a tree, and I'm gonna keep it. Okay, we have I don't know if you call this mimosa support plant, but it's it's here. Let's see, do we have, let's walk over here, and now we have our gummy berry here that's now 6 feet tall and wide. I guess that's a support, right? Here we have another Siberian pea shrub, perennial, and you can see we have all these persimmons because I chew persimmons and spit the seeds out. And these American persimmons, I'm sorry, sprout like crazy. I'm not gonna pull them out this year. I'm gonna graft onto them if I can get rid of this peach tree. Okay, let's see what else I don't talk about that we've got planted. Oh, another support plant, of course, is the elderberry. And I don't know if that thing's 12 feet tall, but as I walk down the path, that elderberry's big. And then as I continue to walk down the path, I have another elderberry. You can see the base of it, and this thing is big. This elderberry, it's huge. Now, another way I support the wildlife is I built this tower. It used to be a pull-up bar. So I have stuff in here for insects. I have a bird. He's already moved out, so I can open this. But we did have a nest in there. We have mason bees in here, tubes. I keep a water tray with rocks for the insects, so that's one birdhouse. We have a bird that lives in there. We have a bird that's gonna move in here one day. We have another mason bee right here. And if I go, I gotta duck under some pears. Go to the back of the same tower, we have another mason bee tube up here, and then we have a birdhouse right here and another birdhouse right here. And we did have another set of cardinals move out of this bird nest. Now here we have another blue false indigo, and let me walk this way a little bit. Here we have carpenter bee holes. You see there's one right there. Oh, okay. No, anyway, there's ants on that one. I gotta take that one out. But I drill these holes in them and they move in, and then they stop drilling into my house. And yeah, I've got garlic curing up here too. And here is the buffalo berry, which is a nitrogen fixer out here. So the nitrogen fixers just accumulate biomass, I believe, without using too much nitrogen from the soil. I don't really have the nitrogen fixers for the fact that they put nitrogen in the soil. I just think they're good biomass accumulators. They get a lot of their energy from the sun and the atmospheric nitrogen. I've got a couple books on it that I've read, but I still don't understand until I get the full gist of chemistry. Now, if we go into the side garden, in the side garden, we just have, it's going to be kind of hard to see it, but we've got onion and garlic interplanted in all the beds, and I don't have insect damage. I mean, look, green beans are good. Oh, and here's some of the birdhouse gourds to support the birds. So I've got kales that do good all year. They don't ever have problems. Here, I mean, I have little squash beetles, but I don't have bugs. I don't have bad bugs. Like here's a cabbage, no sprays, no nothing. I don't know when to harvest cabbage. I've never eaten it. I don't like it, but I figured I would grow it. And everything is overflowing. Like I can't even get between my garden beds. And it's growing so fast. I'm actually leaving and I can't keep up with the picking. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. But here, I forgot to show it again. Here's a persimmon, but at the base of the persimmon, we have another Egyptian walking onion. We have some type of huge flower here. I don't know what this flower is. It said it was echinacea. There's a lot of little heads. I don't know what's going to happen to it. Green beans taking over. I'm sure I forgot some of the beneficial plants that do not produce food. And here we have garlics and onions interplanted in all the beds again. I do understand the value of beneficial insects. I do understand the value of bringing in wasp and whatnot. I found praying mantis eggs on my trees earlier this year. I found more, so of course I want the praying mantises here. I want the bugs here. I just don't want the plum curculio here, and I don't want the brown rot. So the Santa Rosa plum, it's looking okay, but there's too many of these that rot. Up here, one rots, it affects them all. This tree, I can't reach the fruits. I can't keep shaking it. And again, like, look, this brown rot, it's just not worth it on this tree. And even on the ones where they're not touching. So in the Santa Rosa plum, I can't just give it to anybody. I mean, that thing is huge, but look, Egyptian walking onions at the bottom of this one too. It's overcome adversity, but the amount of fruit on here, it's just going way too bad. I can't eat it. I can't use it. By the time it ripens, it's all going to be gone. And I just believe the Santa Rosa plum, it can go. Now, if we come over here and look at my 2 pluots, which I'm going to keep. This one, I know I need to prune it, or thin it, I'm sorry, but the fruits are ugly, but they're still on there. They're still on there. Now this one turned out to be well. I've been eating this one every day with not many bugs, so pop 1. Pop 2, this is my first successful pluot harvest. I don't know what these are, what type, but my kids like them, and I'm eating them every day, and the bugs left enough, and the bugs haven't returned to eat them. So even though I'm picking them every day, it seems like I still got so many. So this pluot tree right here and this pluot tree are both staying. And again, the fruit it's really, really good. I know people always do the bite test, but I mean, that's good. I'm taking a lot of these with me on a road trip soon. Yeah, they're good, and I feel like they're still going to get sweeter. And when these are ripe, they're dark red on the inside. Let me see. This one doesn't look ready, but let's have a bite. It's okay. So again, these 2 pluots, they're going to stay, but there's no reason for me to keep the spring satin pluot, this pluot, and these peach trees. The peach trees are still holding a good bit of fruit, but they've lost so many. But I'm sorry, getting all tangled up. But the donut peaches still seem to be good, and the Orient pear, I don't know, I'm sure. I thought it was just Asian pear. It's like what I had in Korea. But these are all doing great. No problems. The plum curculio bit them, but the eggs don't do anything. They don't take. So these are everywhere. I'm going to have a good pear harvest, and that's why I'm deciding to swap out my plums with pears. I've got tons of pears all over the yard, tons of European and tons of Asian. But anyway, the whole point of this, oh, and look, potatoes sprouting up, so I do use the ground layer. I didn't show any of my potatoes or sweet potatoes, but look over here, I've got gourds, squashes coming up. I'm sure I've got more support plants I can show. So I do take that into mind. Not to mention, I brought in myself about 20 truckloads of gravel because with conditions of the climate, you know, air temperature, sun, water, whatnot, these do decompose. Not really decompose, but they do break down to their finer parts, and they do help feed the soil over time. So I have tons of crushed granite, over 1.5 feet of mulch on it. It's like over 25 chip drops. I've got all kind of stuff bringing in, so I don't need the nitrogen. I don't need the fertilizer. I just need a plan. I need to know what I'm doing. And I will continue to add the support plants, and I will continue to take some out. And the last thing, is you see that I've lined my entire backyard with logs. Check out this. Check out these holes. This is another thing I didn't mention about supporting the wildlife and the beneficial insects. So as we come down, you will continue to see holes. I'm sure they're not all beetles because I see some bees coming out. But I do. Even where I'm not even trying to support the wildlife, I have them here. And no treated lumber for my post. Just use these. Oh, 1 second. Gotta finish this. I mean, I got muscadines coming up, kiwi, Liberty apple taking over this, spring satin bluot. Now, even come back here, we've got other grapevines coming up, trying to do squash, Nanking cherry, other stuff here. Oh, and our neighbor has a giant, what is this? I don't know, the big berry that hangs on the trees that everybody's got, mulberry. It's a big mulberry tree. Well, I get mulberries, but anyway, it's supposed to be about support plants. So I've got them. I still want more. I know I need work, but I'm trying. I'm trying these concepts, trying nitrogen fixers. I'm trying ones that make certain odors. I'm making some with bright flowers that bring in the bugs, the bees, and even small stuff that I don't show, like I skip over. Sunflowers. Got sunflowers coming up, but the bees don't really care for the sunflowers. They more like the lavender. So another sunflower coming up here. But again, all those gourds will be birdhouses. And we have another peach tree in the front. And yeah, it's looking okay, but I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the second round of bugs to come. Now I'm gonna have a problem is if I do decide to keep these trees and I have their replacements on order. That might be the problem. Now, and I put some grass down for the kids, but I think that might be about it. This is, oh, I've already gone over those. So yeah, I've got support. I've let the dandelions come up too, even though I don't really care for them. I'm letting the raspberry go. Everything. Also, I don't mention, I've got a huge white pine in my front yard. That is my white pine. It is big, way big. I'm not letting that go. I've also got a huge magnolia that is on my property. Thankfully, it's on the corner and I'm blessed. And I also, in my backyard, have a huge water oak that is in my property under the chicken pen. So I've got 3 large trees, several fruit trees. Oh, and an update on the Zone 7 banana. I'm kind of doing it all. Look, little tiny bananas, I think. I don't know if I can eat them. I don't know what. Got vetch coming up. I don't know if I'm gonna let that stay. Asparagus, blackberries, don't know what I'm pruning. Blueberries right next to the blackberries, right next to the cranberries. Come back over here. Figs. Let me see where you at. Okay, this one doesn't have too many figs on it, but this one over here has already got the figs popping. And of course, I love my pawpaw. Next year, I'm expecting big things. I also have 2 cherry trees. I don't mention at all. I don't know if I'm gonna keep them or not. And the loquat trees are doing good. I'm getting some cranberries. And even though I'm back in the front again, here's some type of squash. It's gonna take over. Here's my bottle gourds that I just buried, the whole gourd, and they're popping up. And I think I'm gonna cut this short. 20 minutes and rambled on about a lot of stuff that had nothing to do with whatever. But see, I've got a pear tree here, I've got a pear tree here, a pear tree here, a pear tree here, pawpaw, fig. So I have several pest resistant varieties of trees. So me getting rid of the stone fruit, it doesn't really matter. I've got tons of stuff going in behind it. I just don't want to battle burrowing maggots, because if I continue to have maggots in my food, I'm not going to be able to donate anything. I'm not going to be able to give it away. And I want to grow the food and give it away if I can. But I'm not giving away dirty maggot food. So I love the bugs. I want the bugs. I want the hawks, the eagles. I want the groundhogs to come up from this pond. We've already had big turtles come up here. I want all the animals, cats, dogs, everything. But I don't want the maggots. I'm not going to set up traps, and I'm not going to do kaolin clay because I do not want to commit to a spray cycle. And I truly believe that if it affects the plum cuculio, it probably affects the lizard that wants to eat the plum cuculio. It probably affects the spider. It might do something. It might affect the praying mantis. James Prigioni says it gums up the reproductive organs of the plum cuculio. So, I mean, does it do the same for the praying mantis, or does it do the same for the ladybugs? I don't know. So I don't want to spray, even though I know I will get tremendous yield for fruit. I don't want to spray. I just want to have a lazy garden. I've put in so much work. I just want it to be lazy. I want to let it go. And I know I'm forgetting some support plants. Like I bought my girlfriend some flower boxes down there. There's all kind of stuff that hasn't come up yet. But I support the pollinators. I want them here. And from my observation, the phenomenal lavender plant, both of them are the best when it comes to feeding the bees. I don't know if it's the best food for the bees, but it's the best. Next to that, the poppies. If I can catch this right here, something happens to these bees when they hit the poppy. Like they start doing backflips. Okay, I don't see anything on that poppy. And they're just about done. So you just let them do their thing, and then they just fall over and turn to seed. They have these little seeds. When it opens up, you crack them open. They're beautiful. I just wish the flowers stayed on longer. And the bees don't really care for these. But anyway, this is too long. Oh, strawberries, of course. Forgot that thing. And then over here, we've got more moringas that haven't wanted to come up yet. We've got wild lettuce. Just the regular bull crap that shows up. Pokeberry, which is not going to stay, but it won't leave. My little clover patch. I don't know what I'm doing with that. Anyway, yeah, I got pollinators. I want more. So yeah, I do know I need to research more, and I'm trying. But I want to do this God's way. I don't want to spray. I don't want to kill anything. I don't even want to continue to kill the squash beetles anymore. I feel bad every time I flick them. I don't want to kill anything. I just want it to work. So that doesn't mean getting rid of my fruit trees. It means putting fruit trees in here that don't get eaten and filled with maggots. I don't mind dirty bites, deformities, cat facing, all that stuff is fine. I just don't want to eat big maggots in my food. Oh yeah, one more thing before we go. Blueberries and these assassin bugs are real cool. I don't know what they do, but anyway, peace.